I live kind of up by the mountains near Big Bear.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm like right in the sticks.
That's actually a nice place to be. Do you like snowboarding?
I don't have any health insurance, so I don't like. Like, do you really love our band? If you don't really love our band, then we don't really want to work with you, kind of thing. That's the kind of mentality we've had in this band. Because otherwise you just chase. Otherwise you'll end up doing shit that you don't want to do, and that's a bad thing. Like, there's stuff I've done in old bands where I'm just like, that was pretty soul destroying. You don't want to look back in years and years time and be like, fuck, I wish I didn't do that. You kind of got to start just doing stuff on your own terms. Like, I went to watch this Melvins documentary. They had this showing of their documentary in a theater downtown, and they had all these fucking super famous dudes there, and they showed this. They played first, and then they showed the documentary. And in this documentary, it had like Josh Homme and Chris Cornell and Grohl and all these people talking about the Melvins, and they were just like, they're the only band out of our whole scene that did everything on their own terms, and they're the only ones that are truly happy. Yeah, they probably like scrape by a bit, and then it cuts to like Buzz in a real shitty beat up VW car, but like all the other people are just like, they're the only true ones that are truly happy because they didn't like chase success. They just did it on their own terms, and they're still doing it on their own terms now, and they still probably, I mean, they get by. Like, that's all I want. I don't want like, I've never wanted like huge, I need a big mansion and all this money and all this fancy shit. All I need is for it to be like a reasonably well paid day job.
Oh yeah.
Just for like, you should be doing it for the love of music rather than the love of trying to get fame. And that, I actually, after watching that Melvins documentary is when I quit the Defiled. Wow. I literally, the day after, I was like, because I was watching it going, oh man, like, I'm unhappy and I don't really want it to go on forever. And literally I walked out of there and I went with my friend Jack, and he was just like, man, that really like hit home a little bit about some stuff. I was like, fuck, I've got to make some decisions now. So yeah, literally the day after watching that, I called the guys and I was like, I'm out. Because it was like super inspiring to watch. I have not actually watched that documentary since, but I don't know, it just felt, I don't know, it was like, fuck, that's what it should be. They're doing it for the, it showed them like in the height of all those Seattle bands getting signed. They went to like, they were being harassed by every major label, and then they did this showcase with, and all the people around them were like, this has to be the fucking show. They ended up like putting full stacks up, and they faced the amps. Like, they literally faced each other and didn't face the crowd the entire show, and just being like, we don't want to get signed by a major label, we don't want this. And they still got fucking signed to a major label even after playing, because there was so much hype about them. But the fact that they played with like their backs turned and stuff, they were so anti-fame. I could just kind of, it's kind of quite nice to see nowadays.
Oh yeah, I mean, I saw that with obviously Buzz Osborne, and then you see like you said, the Cornells and the Grohls of the world saying like, yeah, like, he's the one true happy guy, like, to this day, that is doing what he loves because he never went with what the machine wanted him to do. I think that's what like Kurt Cobain was probably drawn to by them early on too, because they are like the studs of that Seattle scene early on, before it even took off with the Nirvanas and the Pearl Jams and the Soundgardens and the Alice in Chains of the world. Because Kurt Cobain, obviously, the story there is that he did not want to be famous, and it obviously led to what happened to him. But like the Melvins aspect to it, like, you're right, like there's so many things that they probably could have done, but it's like, we love what we do now. Like, we're happy, we're content now. Like, why not just keep doing it our way?
And they just keep on kind of just doing ridiculous shit. Like, let's just have 2 bass players on this album, and let's have 2 drummers on this tour, and they just kind of make this weird music that they fucking worship. So I'm not saying all of it is fucking stellar at times, but you've kind of got to just respect the fact they've just done what they wanted to do the whole time.
That's Seattle too for you. You know, we talked about the weather kind of playing a factor in like what you write. Like, Seattle is rainy almost 100% of the time. Exactly. You know, so like that definitely influenced how angry everybody was. Like you were saying in London with the Defiled, how that kind of like shaped your image. Like, that's why, you know, you see the the Cobains and the Cornells and the Lane Staleys, unfortunately, going the way they did.
Yeah.
And even Scott Weiland, he was Huntington Beach. Stone Temple Pilots was kind of out of that scene, but they were all kind of just like meshed, like these heavy garage bands that were playing music that, you know, represented like the rebellious nature in their soul because of, again, like I feel like it was the scene. Like it was always dark and gloomy. No one was really happy. And then because now you guys shift to moving out here, to, you know, kind of shift gears to what you guys are doing now with the Lowlives. Like how were you guys able to find that new inspiration to write songs the way you wanted to after being in that mindset for a long time?
I don't know, really. I mean, it has affected, like, even now, you know, writing for the next lot of batch of songs and stuff. And it is hard at times where you're like, shit, is this too happy? Like, you kind of almost kind of where, like, Happy Weezer and Happy Foo Fighters kind of songs. So you're just like, is this a bit much? Is this really us kind of thing? There is times where I have to, like, check and be like, okay, I need to write something a little bit gloomier kind of thing. I think lyrics are still kind of gloomy. But yeah, actually up where we live up the mountain now is kind of quite, it does rain at times and stuff, and it snows a fucking lot.
Yeah.
I'm guessing maybe that might affect it at some point, but yeah, at the moment it is definitely like, I have to make a conscious effort at times to be like, shit, this is too happy. Like I send song ideas over to Luke and it's just like, and then I listen back the next day, I'm just like, what the hell am I thinking? This is like pure pop music.